contemporary issues and challenges in international and domestic law. I, Abhipsha, along with my co-host Anushka, on behalf of Law Mantra, would like to show our gratitude towards all those people who have established this event with their presence. Law Mantra is a non-profitable organization running for the purpose of enhancing legal academics and legal awareness in the society and in practice of the same. Law Mantra is registered today under the Indian Trust Act 1882, whose members are leaders and members from legal fraternity, other professions with a nexus to conflict resolution, academics, and experts from various fields who are committed to resolve conflicts and disputes using innovative mechanisms and methods such as mediation, conciliation, negotiation, and arbitration. Law Mantra is a body of jurists, advocates, academicians, and students running for the purpose of enhancing legal academics and legal awareness in the society and in the practice of the same. In accordance with their prominent objective, Law Mantra has taken the initiative to organize this one-day international seminar in collaboration with a well-established institution in the nation, that is Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad was established in 2014, inheriting splendidly novelty, dynamism, and excellence in the education of Symbiosis International University, Pune. The legacy of Symbiosis Law School in excellence and quality began with Symbiosis Law School Pune, which is consistently ranked among the top 10 law schools in India in the last 13 years. Symbiosis Law School Hyderabad is founded on the pillars of expertise, justice, and service, and is committed to impart quality legal education conforming acclaimed international standards. SLS Hyderabad offers a 5-year integrated undergraduate programs. It shares expertise in imparting quality legal education through competent and well-qualified teaching staff, techno-driven research culture, internalization, centers of excellence, and training, skill enhancement programs, mood courts, and the likes. It is committed to contributing to the justice mission of the state, initiating pro bono activities to help poor and marginalized people through community learning, legal aid camps, and permanent legal aid clinics also. Further, it endeavors to create value-conscious skilled lawyers with par excellence serving dynamic needs of the community through bar and bench. Today, this seminar aims to examine and analyze the domestic and international law in today's time. Our contemporary issues refer to an issues that is currently affecting people or places that is unresolved. The main objective of the is to deliberate and discuss on what is required to build strategies and to address the constraints and inclusive practices towards betterment of the society, elevating student awareness of global contemporary issues is increasing important as the countries of the world become more independent. Today's students also need an understanding of the world's economy, politics, and social structures, laws, and environment in order to make the best decision about how to lead their own lives after high school and beyond. At the same time, dealing with the domestic issues with the critical eye is vital to enhancing democracy and getting first-hand knowledge about the persisting condition in one's own nation. The international seminar will be attended by various international delegates and speakers, as also representatives from national diaspora representing the stakeholders in the digital ecosystem and a live web. Now I would like to call upon my co-host Anushka to take over. Thank you.
It is indeed our honor today to have such reputed dignitaries amidst us. It is a complete privilege for our institution to have Professor Dr. Rishikesh Wagle, Dean, Faculty of Law, School of Law, Nepal, Professor Dr. N.S. Punchihewa, Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Colombo, Dr. Anuradha Binnuri, Officiating Director, Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, and Mr. Kishor Kumar Mishra, President, Law Mantra Trust. First and foremost, I would like to call upon the backbone of this institution, Mr. Kishor Kumar Mishra, the President of Law Mantra Trust, to address this gathering. Sir is one of the leading pioneers in the field of law. Sir is also one of India's leading lawyers and is currently practicing in Delhi High Court. He is the founder of this trust that has provided access to an extensive and fast-growing library for many people in legal fraternity. Sir, I request you to speak a few words.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I welcome to you all on the behalf of Law Mantra. I am the President Kishor Kumar Mishra. Especially thanks to Mr. Professor Dr. Rishikesh Wagle, Dean Faculty of Law, School of Law, Nepal. Professor Dr. N.S. Punchihewa, the Dean Faculty of Law, University of Colombo. Madam Dr. Anuradha Binnuri, the Officiating Director, Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, and all the listeners and participants, that I warmly welcome you on the behalf of Law Mantra on this occasion. Now we are all gathering on the webinar because of the very critical issues which has been let down by the team of the Symbiosis Law University as well as the Law Mantra, the contemporary issues, challenges of the international and the domestic law. Dear participants and honorable chief guests, before my starting, now I would like to say of the one of the greatest jurists of the international jurisprudence, that is Mr. Gracias Sahib once explained, and I will quote, that the law is nothing but it's a binding force. And that is the legal maxim which is in form of the Latin, that is the T jure belli ac pacis, means he always thinks about the war and crime. Now we have suffered a lots of trauma when we see the situation of the Taliban, which is illegally captured on Afghanistan. See, there are the thousands of challenges in international law. That is called to be uncounted challenges in international law. But now we choose few challenges we faced in 21st century and in the year of 2021. Now the emergence of Taliban in Afghanistan is not only the threat of the security of our regional region, but also as well as peace. Now the condition of the Gulf countries is deteriorate day by days. Now the third one is the climate change is the great issues with upcoming generation of our universe. Now fourth one is the overpopulation. Now the fifth is the global terrorism, and the sixth one is the war against crime and crime against women. That is the few issues which we pick up and now explain how I will encounter that organization and how they encountered us, because we are the civilized person living in the civilized country. Therefore, that is the greatest task for us to how we encounter to Taliban, how we manipulate the condition of the Gulf countries, how we change the circumstances of the climate changes and overpopulation and many more. But before the starting of this topic, I would like to give a glance of the COVID warrior, because COVID is not come forced by the force of the human interference, because we all know when the COVID came into force and destroy our life, and when it came from, where is the source of the COVID-19? Because of the China, the December 2019, COVID came into force of our universe and destroyed the life of our regularized life. Now, why the COVID came into force? Because of the brutal action by the Chinese on the animals. Because of the brutal action which is taken by the China on the animals, or destroy the environmental spheres, we faced a COVID-19 pandemic. Almost all the countries of the world are facing the COVID-19 situation. Everything is destroyed in between 2.5 years. Everything almost in our country, because of that we are developing country, all thing is destroyed. Our economic is slowed down. There is a great challenges of unemployment. There is the facing of economic slowdown. We are now unable to say something about the COVID-19 because many more panelists can for their chance. Now the situation of the Taliban. The Taliban is a terrorist group. This is a group of the militants now came into force of the Afghanistan. Now the Northern Alliance army surrendered before the Taliban. Even not a single civilized country opposed the action of Taliban. We have a United Nations, not a single statement given by the United Nations against the illegal action by the Taliban. We have a Security Council. No matter we are the poor, we are the rich, we are the stronger, or we are the weak nation. Here, there is a United Nations which came into force in the September 24 of 1945. There is one motto: we are all equal. No matter if we are stronger, we are the poor. But that is a matter when the stronger came into power on the poor, we must follow the equality process. But when the illegal action which is taken by the militant group of Taliban against the Afghanian people, no one countries of the civilized nation which opposed the action of Taliban. This is the great, today we are not seeing there is any danger which is created by the Taliban. But we remember the 9/11 attack, which is done by the Al-Qaeda with the support of Taliban. In 9/11, we must not forget. We also suffer our parliamentary attack, which is done by the ISI militant by the support of Pakistan and Al-Qaeda and Taliban. We must also not forget about in 1999, where our plane was hijacked by the Taliban groups, and the plane was landed on the land of Afghanistan. So we are not forgetting the previous bad situation which is done by the Taliban with the help of Afghanistan, ISI, and Pakistan. So today we are not showing any situation which is emerged by the Taliban. But let me tell you, my friends, that in near future the Taliban create a huge dangers of the civilized nation. Not only for our region, because we are in the South Asia, not our region, because every Western country now the so-called the propagate of the one of the finest country, one of the richest country, one of the superpower. America said that I have not treated by the Taliban. But let you tell me, I will tell you all things that the 9/11 is done when the WTC, World Trade Center, was attacked by the Al-Qaeda with the support of Taliban. It's not our country. WTC is not situated in our country. It's situated in 7,000 kilometers away from Afghanistan to America. An attack was done. So where we think that we are situated in European country, we have never treated. We are situated in America, we have never treated. We are situated in Africa, we are never treated by the Taliban groups or militant groups. That is not a way to encounter the Taliban. Here, one of the biggest mistake which is done by the United States of America, there was a treaty. What a treaty? There was a treaty which was done by Taliban and America. It's the great treat because in civilized nation, and the United Nations motto has already been let down, that any treaty or agreement must be done by the civilized nation to the civilized nation. Here, one civilized nation done an agreement with uncivilized countries, uncivilized militant group, not a countries, uncivilized militant group, so-called Taliban. Now, one of the biggest mistake which is done by one of the prominent magazine, that is called Time magazine. Whoever have a picture on the main cover of the Times magazine, they feel the proud because the Time magazine, one of the prominent magazine in the entire world, which is published by United Nations, which is published in America. Now I am telling you that one of the militant name is the Mullah Baradar, who is also come in the 100 list of empowered person. That is the powerful person. How the magazine came and the cover of the Mullah Baradar. Mullah Baradar, one of the extremists, second founder of the Taliban group, now supported to Al-Qaeda. Now Time magazine said that he is come in the 100%, those who influence the world at large. So I don't know what the tactics or what the strategy led down by the Times Group magazine. Now we are saying much more about the Taliban. So as far as our Mr. Prime Minister of our country said that this is not a a fear of our country, it's a fear entire the world. Let's see what happens in future, but we must prepare ourselves how to protect our country from that extremist body. Now there's a condition of the Gulf countries. Once again, America destroyed the world at large because of their policies. Till post 19, there was a good policies which is framed by the USA. But after the Gulf War was started, when the America attack on Kuwait, with the help of Kuwait on Iraq on 1990, there was again one of the biggest mistake which is done by the America. On that time to till Iraq is destroyed, Syria was destroyed, Mishra was destroyed, Afghanistan was destroyed, and got nothing. America got nothing in this country. So every time we see there is a religious radicalization of religious, where I mean to say that Hindu is also radicalized, Christians is also radicalized, but we are not mentioning about the Hindus and Christians and Jain and Parsi. We are always mentioning about the Muslim radicalized person. Here, the Gulf countries, the leader of the Gulf countries are too much radicalized. Every time they propagate their own religion, they are not giving any respect to another countries. They want to become radicalized of Islam and propagate the entire the world. That is the biggest mistake which is done by the Gulf countries. But not a single statement which is given by the United Nations as well as America or any member of the Security Council, how to protect, how to encounter that radicalized body, which is led by Gulf countries. Again, we come in the situation of the climate change. The climate change is the biggest, the issues which we suffered now because of the greenhouses, because of the ozone layer is delimitation day by day, because the greenhouses up day by day. Everything is, blacking down by the, climate change. If we are now in the 21st century, see what happened if the person or if our generation come in 50 years after. So everything is destroyed. So must we, think about the climate change. We must propagate one of the law which is codified and which is applicable to all of us in equally manner, no matter which country is, produce much more greenhouses, whether it may be India, whether it may be China or America or Western countries. But let you tell me, my friend, that one of the biggest resources of the greenhouses is none other China, America, and the Western countries, where there is no rule, there is no law which is regulate or prohibit to USA, Western countries, or any China's member of the Chinese parliamentarian to much reduce the greenhouses effect. No such a law still exists in our country. So this is also biggest a challenge of our life. If we live now, but what happened our future generation, they are suffer lots of trauma when we are not controlling this climate change. Now overpopulation, we are all suffer the overpopulation. The resources is limited, but the population is unlimited. We are the example. Now India is the biggest resources of the producing of the population day by days. And China, one of the country, China is the largest population, second is India. And then thereafter, now there is estimated population in 2050, there is going to be 9.2 billion population in 1950. See what happened if there is a 9.2 billion population is there in 1950. Resources is limited. Therefore, we must control. We have a good law, those who regulate the population theory. And the last one is the war and crime. The war and crime means the crime not only against civilized person, but the crime against women, the drugs, transportation, murder, killing of the innocent people. That is the so many slavery still is forced in African country. And then there is so many, the situation which is called to be war and crime. War and crime means, suppose if we are going to be developed, see our in as far as India is concerned, see the state of Punjab, the youth are too much addicted with the drug. Now the too much drug is addicted by the northeast our country, state of our country. That is, if we want to our country is developed, we must protect from our youth to drug. But now there is a Narcotic and Drugs Act, but we must have a good will. Then thereafter we must be prevented from that drugs addict. But here the resources of the drug from the government, illegal sources of from drug by the Punjab government, supported by the Punjab government, or supported by the Northeast Asia, Northeast state. The drug addict is up day by day, where we protect our youth from drug. We have a good law that must be prevent from our youth to drugs. So this is also a very tensionized issue. So this is the categorized of the international issue. When we talks about our domestic laws, what the domestic laws is concerned, that the laws which is consist of the Indian Penal Code or Criminal Penal Code, or the law relating to women, the law relating to slavery, the law relating to domestic violence. That is the law which is laid down by the codified nature. But think that law is implementing is the good way. That is the main motto. Here, everything is laid down in our codified law. I have a good law. We have a good law in POCSO Act. We had a good law in the Women's Domestic Laws Act. We have a good law in 498 Act. But still is crime is down, but the crime is up. There is the biggest challenge of our face. Rather than down, it's up. That is the biggest challenge. Now, the government is, but I am very much disappointed when we saw the problem of our government. Government is divided us on the basis of the casteism, on the basis of religion. Government is not supported us. Government, we must consider one of the things that there is a two system which is prevail in 21st century. That is upper class and the lower class. Upper class means those who are elite, those who are not from caste, by the you are the forward class, you are the backward class, or you are from a CST. We are sufferer because by the policies of the government of India, by the policies of the state government, we are suffering now very much because government say you are the general class people, you are the OBC class people, you are SC/ST, you are from SC/ST people. But my dear friend and chief guest Sahib, just I am telling you, there is a two class in our country which is prevailing. There is a class system. If you have a money, you are in class of elite. If you have not a money, you are in the class of weak class. So that is the biggest problem. We have a good colleges, but the few, there's a few college which is so-called the elite college. So who is in college? Those who have a good money. Those here also said that if you have a money, you send your child to good school, private school. But if you haven't money, you send your child to government school. See, there is a government school, but only for, if you consider about the quality of education, there is no quality of education given by the government school because of their problem. So every person, those who have money, send it to their child to private school. That must be, elite. That must be slowing down by the policies of the government of India. But government of India doing nothing about the elimination of this class system. We have a rich, we are the product of the National Law School or AIMS or any good colleges. See, if you are the student of National Law School, you are one of the best student. Coming of the best student, and your valuable presence is considered by the court of law as well. But see, one of the students who are the product of the Meerut University or the Sorifrap University, can you compare with the two groups of students, those who are passed out from the National Law School or the Symbiosis Law School, or those who are the pass out of the any state university or any Refrap University? There is we create a person, but we not create a quality of person. That is the biggest problem. We must create a sound people who give their output to our country's development. We are creating a people, but we are not creating a people those who are capable to do something. Therefore, my time is limited, and I just request to our chief guest to say something about the contemporary issues, challenges of international law as well as domestic law. I'm sorry because I'm taking much more time because of these my issues, and I face days by days. My loved ones face day by day. That's why I have explored each and everything. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Your words were extremely insightful and informative. It is very important for all of us to ponder over all these issues. Thank you so much, sir. A good leader is someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. When we hear these words by John Maxwell, the first name that comes to our mind is of Dr. Anuradha Binnuri. Dr. Anuradha Binnuri is the officiating director of Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. Her administrative capacity has taken Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. She has chaired various conferences and seminars. She has numerous research paper publications to her credit. She has also edited several books and journals. She is a friend, philosopher, and a guide for her students. It is rightly said, the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, but a great teacher inspires. Dr. Anuradha has been a constant source of inspiration for everyone, including her students, as well as her colleagues. Now, I would like to call Dr. Anuradha to the virtual dais to address the gathering.
Thank you, Anushka. A warm welcome to one and all present here. At the outset, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries, delegates, participants for accepting this invitation and being present here on this one-day international seminar. I would also like to congratulate Law Mantra Trust and the staff of Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, for organizing this seminar on contemporary issues and challenges in international and domestic law. Although the Constitution of India is yet to recognize social security as a fundamental right, it does require that the state should strive to promote the welfare of people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice, social, economic, and political shall inform all the institutions of national life. Especially Article 41 of the Constitution requires that the state should, within the limits of its economic capacity, make effective provision for securing the right to work, to education, and to public assistance in the case of unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement. Article 42 requires that the state should make provision for securing just and humane conditions of work and for maternity relief. Article 47 requires that the state should raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living of its people and improvement of public health as well as among its primary duties. The obligation of the state in the above article constitutes social security. Social security has considerable importance in the recent years. It is one of the basic needs in all the developing and underdeveloping countries, including India. Social security includes security for employment, availability of employment, reasonable standards of working conditions, of some income while unemployed, retirement income, recreation, self-improvement, medical and ill health, or death. Social security is a dynamic concept. Being a dynamic subject, no rapid limits can be laid down for all times to come. It varies from time to time and from country to country. Social security provides for making provisions for the welfare of people who are unable to secure employment due to various reasons like poverty, inaccessibility to the mainstream of life, old age, physical disabilities, mental or other sickness, oppression by dominant class of people, unavailability of opportunities to have access to various avenues for individuals' growths, invalidity, and hence earn anything for their livelihood. The word social security, as understood in the modern days, was first used by Bismarck in 1880 in Germany. It has got its official recognition and was used authoritatively in United States of America only in the year 1935 for the first time. It's a novel concept in the field of business management and industrial maladministration. In its rudimentary form, however, social security was not unknown in ancient India. Today, the worker gets all his facilities as of right. Decades ago, he got them as en gratia. It is true for all countries, although there is no denying that social security today embraces a wider field than ever before. In addition to labor, welfare, and economic protection of worker, it also covers the socio-economic progress and development of weaker sections. Government, whether in developed or developing nations, play a vital role in promoting social welfare by providing benefits to the needy citizens. The objective of social welfare ranges from providing relief from poverty and attaining a minimum standards of living, which assures decent life, to promote greater economic equality by redistributing the resources from the rich through taxation to the poor in the form of social services. Social security is one specific area falling within the ambit of the welfare state. The development of social security institutions is inherently limited to an underdeveloped or developing economy having a low per capita and national income, but its importance tends to increase alongside the expansion phase through which such an economy passes in an endeavor to promote development of the nation in general and its citizens in particular. The social security policy is part of a wide range of social policies, such as investments in basic social services, protective labor legislations, and the enforcement of basic rights. They also intimately relate to employment policies because most of the social security schemes are financed out of labor incomes and protect against risks related to employment capacity, such as unemployment, sickness, disability, and old age. Favorable social security and employment outcomes are strongly influenced by economic development, and all of them contribute to the process of socio-economic development. In the development of social security institutions is inherently limited to an underdeveloped or a developing economy having a low per capita and national income, but its importance tend to increase alongside the expansion phase through which such an economy passes in an endeavor to promote development of the nation in general and its citizens in particular. The social security policies are part of a wide range of social policies, such as investments in basic social services, protective labor legislations, and the enforcement of basic rights. They are also intimately related to employment policies because most of the social security schemes are financed out of labor incomes and protect against the risk related to employment capacity, such as unemployment, sickness, disability, and old age. Favorable social security and employment outcomes are strongly influenced by economic development, and all of them contribute to social economic systems. Thus, the social security system delivers a key element of the complex and highly regulated network of conditional support provided by the state to the citizen who lacks the monetary and physical means to meet their basic demands. This overall network of support has traditionally formed the basic primary role of the welfare state. The preamble of the Indian Constitution is the sole repository of social security measures and provides for the establishment of the socialist state. According to the Supreme Court of India, the principal aim of socialism is to eliminate inequality of income status and standards of life and to provide a standard of life to the working people. Further, it is designed to secure social, economic, and political justice to all its citizens. These objectives can be achieved through various directive principles of state policy enshrined in Part 3 of the Constitution. Article 38 is a mandate to the state to provide a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. Article 39 provides for equal rights to adequate means of livelihood to all its citizens and distribution of wealth and material resources to subserve common good and prevention of concentration of wealth and means of production, etc. Article 41 provides for right to work, education, public assistance in certain cases, such as unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement. Article 42 stands for providing just and humane conditions of work, maternity relief. Article 43 provides with living wages for workers, and Article 43A intends to secure workers' participation in management of industries. Besides these, entries 21, 22, 23, 24, and 26 of the concurrent list authorizes the state government to take necessary steps for regulation and control of commercial and industrial monopolies, trade unions, industrial and labor disputes, social security, social insurances, employment, unemployment, welfare of labor, etc., respectively, with an intention to ensure protection of interest of all citizens of India. It's our privilege to have Mr. Kishor Kumar Mishra, President, Law Mantra Trust, for this inaugural function. I also welcome Professor Anand Pawar, Professor of Law, RGNLU, Patiala, as a chief guest of this function. My greetings to Professor Rishikesh Wagle, Dean, Faculty of Law, Nepal, welcoming you, sir, as a guest of honor to this program. It's a great honor to welcome Professor N.S. Punchihewa, Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Colombo, as a guest of honor. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable words. Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world. Our next guest, Professor Dr. N.S. Punchihewa, is the perfect combination of vision and action. Dr. Nishant Sampat Punchihewa is a senior lecturer in law and Dean Faculty of Law, University of Colombo. Prior to his appointment as Dean Law, Dr. Punchihewa was the Director of University Business Linkage, University of Colombo, and coordinator of the MPhil PhD program of the Faculty of Law, University of Colombo. He is currently serving as a national legal specialist in intellectual property rights and Sri Lankan law to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. Dr. Punchihewa is also an attorney at law of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka. He is a member of the Intellectual Property Advisory Commission constituted under the Intellectual Property Act of Sri Lanka. He teaches both graduate and undergraduate courses, including intellectual property law, at the Faculty of Law, Colombo University. Dr. Punchihewa's research focuses on intellectual property with a special emphasis on patent, branding and trademarks, copyright, geographical indications, and trade secret law. We are humbled by your presence, sir. I request you to speak.
Hello, good morning. There is the signal failure, it seems. Could you make me host so that I can share the screen?
Anushka?
Yes, sir.
You are the host now. Just right click on source name. There is option more. Okay.
All right.
Yes. In that, make co-host.
Yes, I think you have done it. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. Right. I'll make it enlarge. Right. A very good morning to all. And thank you for inviting me for this event. Very interesting. From Sri Lanka. I would be more than happy to share my thoughts, and also perhaps I can reflect on certain aspects that that have surrounded us in terms of intellectual property rights and health emergencies that we all face in recent time. Thank you once again for Aditya Mishra, who invited me, and he asked me to speak about the impact of COVID-19 on intellectual property rights, because this is the area that I have researched and also I have published internationally and in Sri Lanka in most cases. So it is, I should, with great respect to the organizers, I was asked to limit my presentation for maximum 15 minutes. So I will, I accordingly walk through the presentation. As you all know, the issue of COVID-19 has engulfed the entire world unprecedentedly, and everybody is affected, not the least the developing countries. All the powerful nations are at their knees in these challenging times. So the impact of COVID-19 on intellectual property rights is an appropriate, a pertinent topic that we all need to understand. So along the lines of these topics, I would like to deal with this topic. So in terms of the agenda, I would like to offer introductory thoughts, then intellectual property rights as invisible gold in the 21st century, and then IP rights during the COVID-19 pandemic, followed by exclusivity and access to medicine, and where the IP rights may have conflict with public interests. And then I would like to enlighten you, the audience, and our viewers on the international IP treaties that are very important for us to deal with the issue that we are facing in the contemporary world. Then followed by the need to strike a proper balance between exclusivity, exclusive rights, and the right of the society. As the previous speaker, Madam, mentioned, that the societal rights, social justice is embedded into the constitutions of many countries, and we need to achieve social justice as advanced by German scholar, as mentioned earlier. And then how there is a discourse in many jurisdictions, including the US, suspension of IP rights during the time of COVID-19, and how far we can go along this path is a very appropriate question that we all need to answer. And then I will offer my concluding thoughts by bringing certain harmonized regime for intellectual property at the global level. So this is how I would like to walk through the presentation. The concept of intellectual property, as you all know, India and Sri Lanka, my country, and I saw the dean of the Nepalese law school, we all are in the subcontinent. We share commonalities. And Emperor Ashoka brought Sri Lanka the Buddhism, and we have heritage in this, and we are proud of that. And we are a subculture, Indian subculture. And intellectual property, concept of intellectual property is something treated as a Western concept. Western concept. Nevertheless, intellectual property was not somebody speaking in the background. Its impact and its influence has been felt all over the world, because we are in the globalized world. And you might know the intellectual property is the lifeblood of any industry in the 21st century. And you have seen copyright symbol, you have seen patented, trade secret, trademark. All these are IP rights, intellectual property rights that we face in everyday life. And IP is the fruits of human mind. I would say the finest creations of human mind. Intellectual property protects the creations and innovation of human intellect. And intellectual property is treated as the invisible gold in the 21st century. Therefore, it is the currency of the 21st century. And as many scholars, any country in the world will not be able to sustain, I emphasize, sustain its economic prosperity without protecting. How to protect and promote intellectual property. I know I read about your Hyderabad city is the capital of Telangana state of India, and this is one of the technology capital. And technology is associated with the rights of intellectual property owners. Therefore, the cities, Hyderabad, maybe also Bangalore, IT capital, are heavy reliance, are of the heavy dependent of the intellectual property assets. So therefore, I would say in the 19th century, the wealthiest person in the world was the owner of oil. I would say the Brunei, the Sultan. Is in the 20th century and 21st century, it is going to be the knowledge workers. Intellectual property assets rights will govern the world. So we are in the 4th industrial revolution, and the importance of intellectual property is ever increasing. Therefore, we cannot undermine the importance of intellectual. As you all know, I think the law school, Symbiosis Law School is teaching intellectual property. I would say it is best if you teach that as a subject, because without knowing intellectual property, maybe 10 years down the line, no lawyer would be able to survive in the legal fraternity, in the legal profession. Therefore, the IP rights are the market opportunities. It can be patents, it can be copyright, industrial designs, trademarks, trade secrets, and geographical indications. I have used here a Darjeeling tea. It's bringing enormous, it's a green gold for India, like Ceylon tea for Sri Lanka, and many IPs GIs are bringing foreign currency to India. Therefore, Sri Lanka and other countries in the South Asian region are blessed with many GIs. So all these are protected by intellectual property assets. And we must remember, in the contemporary international discussion and discourse, the intellectual property rights are enormously important. And what are these intellectual property rights that should be protected in economies of the developing countries like us? Patents and inventions are protected by patents. And then utility models we don't have for small inventions. India, in the way back 2012, India had this idea, but dropped, and Sri Lanka and other countries did never see small patents. Industrial designs we have in our laws. Copyright, you have copyright office in India and Sri Lanka. We don't have copyright registration system. And geographical indications, many. Then branding, trademarks are very important in order to promote the country's image. And then protection against unfair competition, very important. And you have passing off, I think even in Maldives and other countries in the region, it is the passing off, but Sri Lanka has unfair competition. And then integrated circuits, very important for the microchips business and also technology driven industries. Trade secret is another aspect we need to pay our attention, because the small and medium-sized industries are largely relying on trade secrets. And then new plant varieties, I think we all are on the same page. We have not protected by IP rights, but of course we are bound to do so by the in the virtue of the TRIPS obligation. Then I turn to the very pertinent, very contemporary issue going along with your theme, that is intellectual property rights during the COVID-19 pandemic. Very appropriately, the coronavirus disease, as the first speaker enlightened us on this also, COVID-19 or coronavirus disease has spread across the world and made a lot of chaos, virtually chaos all over the world. And coronavirus disease was originated in China of course we don't know, but apparently in 2019. So soon after, the world began to realize this deadliest potential, deadliest nature of this disease, and many activists echoed their vehement critiques on the intellectual property system of the world. That is where we need to be very attentive on this topic. What is the link between intellectual property system and the COVID-19 related inventions? As you know, after this COVID-19 pandemic, many countries in the world, out of the necessity, I would say many people came up with many inventions, many creations, many designs. For example, Silicon Valley in the US, a lot of Indian scientists are working there. I know, because I had my friends when I studied at Munich, Max Planck, I had a couple of friends whose relatives are working in the Silicon Valley in the US. So in Silicon Valley, there was a nice design, a nice invention, self-driven vehicle, motor vehicle, to deliver supplies to COVID-affected lockdown areas. So with many design, many patents, many trade secret combination or many IP rights being used in one invention. So it is the collaborative approach that taken in order to facilitate COVID-19 affected patients and also the households to deliver necessary equipments and supplies. So that is one story about invention responding to the issues in the society. COVID-19 has made unique challenges, the far worse the challenges that human being might have not faced in recent time. So COVID-19, in response to COVID-19 pandemic, the IP system has also evolved, I would say, from experience. And IP system, IP regime grant exclusive rights for innovation and creations. However, the pandemic has created unique necessity that IP right holders exclusive rights can be relaxed, can be limited in order to face the calamity, the crisis in the society, in crisis that the human face is facing right now. Therefore, in the public interest, for public goods, the IP right, exclusive property rights can be limited by the government or by the public authorities. So this is where we need to strike a balance. Pharmaceuticals, vaccines, medical supplies, devices are protected generally by the IP system. Nevertheless, IP rights are exclusive rights. And how can a government or the authority take away my rights? That is the issue that we have to analyze but IP system is something has been developed over centuries. Therefore, it has its own mechanism to address this, address crisis. So as Roscoe found, the students who learn jurisprudence know the importance of the theory Roscoe found, who advanced social engineering, who theorized social engineering of law. And so IP system has to be an engineer, social engineer, in order to address vehement critiques on the IP system that due to the issue of COVID-19 coronavirus. So IP law needs social engineering during this time and access to affordable medicine by developing countries should be seriously considered. IP system needs to reassess its exclusivity and make all possible avenues for affordable drugs to the affected people. And then we need to explore the exceptions and inbuilt limitations of the IP system. For example, patent system has inbuilt mechanism that patent system has its own limits, time-bound limits, like 20 years from the filing of the patent application. And it has also outside limitations. Human rights consideration, right to access to medicine, affordable medicine. We need to balance all these rights as against the individual right to intellectual exclusivity. So, however, such measures should not undermine the very foundation, underpinning of the intellectual property system, that is the incentive or encouragement to promote innovation and creation. If I look at the international treaties, viewed through the international obligation and treaties, you can see the TRIPS agreement has its own limitation on IP rights. Plus, I would emphasize that Doha Declaration on Public Health, which was adopted in 2001, would be the proper solution in the kind of national emergencies, health emergencies, public emergencies that we are facing right now. Therefore, better access to essential medicines should be made possible through the Doha flexibilities. And right to grant compulsory licensing should be enhanced, should be strengthened by developing countries and also countries like the leading countries like India in this regard. So the mechanism, there should be some mechanism to provide adequate vaccination and medicine drugs to other developing countries such as Sri Lanka, Nepal, and other countries in the region by using the flexibilities set out in the TRIPS agreement. Then I would also say, I would pay my attention and I request your attention to the fact that in 2021, one welcome development that has taken place at the world stage is that waivers of IP rights. The United States Biden administration issued statement that they are now, the administration is concentrating or deliberating on the temporary waiver of intellectual property rights on COVID-19 vaccination. This brings us to the very important question. Then the drugs companies, the research and development giants should be able to permit other developing nations to try and make the necessary drugs and vaccines in order to tackle COVID-19 emergencies. However, I would say we need also take this statement with bit more carefulness, because certain drugs are not only patented. Some aspects are underlying solutions are protected at trade secrets. So that aspect will have to be looked at, though it is hidden trade secret aspect. So this move is very encouraging. However, this is only the first step. As I said, for the reason that I stated, there will be some more to get in order to make fully realize the benefit of this waiver. And this kind of leniency would make the serious serious inequity reset for the benefit of the developing and poor nations in the world. However, as you know, lion's share of the largest part of the vaccines are still held in the developed world, and some countries having third jab, but some poor countries did not have even single jab. So that is the reality. As I also think that the first speaker who made that very remark that, of course, developing countries have still to make it possible. Then in concluding thoughts, I thought I just offered you some thoughts that we need to relook at the system of intellectual property, but intellectual property is an essential and integral part of the innovation landscape. It is a building block of nations' creativity and also development. And in concluding thoughts, I think you should also reflect on this Thomas Aquinas' statement, dictum, that any positive law could be regarded fair and legitimate insofar as it is aimed at general well-being. If it does not look at general well-being of the most of the people in the world, certainly this IP right will lose its legitimacy. Therefore, I stress here that intellectual property rights should be balanced and it should accommodate the needs and the social interests of the society. Societal interests should come first in the balancing exercise. And the global approaches, responses through IP system has not been very positive so far, because R&D companies would have incurred enormous sums, millions of, tens of millions of dollars, and they need to also recoup that investment while in making the drugs available on an equitable basis. The greatest danger of most of us is that our aim is not, it is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. That was Michelangelo's statement that I wanted to emphasize here. I thank you for patient listening, and once again, thanking all the organizers, including Aditya Mishra, who invited me for this. And I think we should have more collaboration between Colombo and Hyderabad, so that we can forge our link stronger. And of course, we have been having links with the Pune University Law School, and last 2 years before we were there. And we should also have this South Asian Consortium of Law Schools. Flagging that point, I thank you, and I bring my speech to a close. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening words. It is rightly said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. This quote perfectly defines Dr. Rishikesh Wagle. Dr. Rishikesh Wagle is currently the Dean of Kathmandu University, School of Law, Dhulikhel. He is a former District Court Judge of Nepal and a faculty judge at the National Judicial Academy. He has worked in the Nepal government from 1993 to 2019. Professor Wagle is a renowned judicial officer with impeccable academic records. He has numerous research papers published to his credit. He has published the book Value-Added Tax and Income Tax Laws of Nepal, showcasing his meticulous understanding of the tax regime in Nepal. His expertise lies in legal, constitutional law, international law, and criminal law. He is a strong legal professional with a doctorate focused in dealing with past human rights violations for the consolidation of rule of law in Nepal from Faculty of Law, Bhuvan University, Nepal. He is an APCM International Certified Arbitrator. He completed his LLM from University of Pune, India. Sir, I request you to address the gathering.
Thank you, Anushka. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Good afternoon. We started with a good morning, and now I have to say good afternoon. We are 15 minutes earlier than India. That is already good afternoon in Nepal. First of all, I would like to congratulate Law Mantra in Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, for organizing this wonderful one-day international conference on challenges in international law and domestic law. I'd like to thank Kishor Kumarji for contacting me and inviting me to this conference. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to Anuradha Binnuri. She is the Officiating Director of Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. And I was delighted to listen Dean Punchihewa. He made very specific issue to us that after the COVID-19 or during the COVID-19, we are facing the intellectual property law and interest of the good health of the people of the worldwide. It was very interesting. It is taking a more focused debate in international law. Now, this time, Dean Punchihewa reminded that he was in Pune last year. I'm also more nostalgic about my studies in Pune. As Anushka has rightly mentioned that I did my master's in Pune in 1999. And after that, or before that also, I was in the government service and I worked very long time in judicial service and as a judge also. I'm in academic field for last 2 years. I joined Kathmandu University School of Law as the dean and professor. Now I'm the academic field and back, and I'm all collecting my friends and teachers who are in the Pune. I thought that some of them would be in the conference, but I could not find them. Anyway, I have a good memory of Symbiosis Law School, Pune. That is the sister or mother organization of the Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. I think this conference has very important objectives. I believe it will certainly achieve. In addition to these specific objectives, one of the important objectives it would reach, we have to develop a common forum for discourse between the law schools of India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. I think it will not be the end. This will be only the beginning, and we will continue this discourse in the future. In that, talking to the international order and international law, now this is COVID-19 that is impacting to all of us. We can say that it is not impacting in our lives. It is challenging to the present world order also. Challenging the present world order means it is challenging to the present international law system too. It has multiple challenges. It has also challenges in our domestic sphere also. The states has been using its repressive authority to contend with the COVID-19, but it is the question that whether they are respecting human rights or not. At this moment, it's quite difficult to assess the complete impact of COVID-19 worldwide. But there are some indications that it shows that after COVID, or if continues for some longer time, there are certain indications that will impact in world order. One is that the world is likely to face a repression that may be of great strength or of small, but how long it will go, it is not certain. But it is almost certain that there will be global economic depression. Another is that the world economy will not be open as was previously. It has many challenges. Again is that neoliberal political and economic thought will be challenged. States are becoming more interventionists. Right, Dean Punchihewa has pointed out that the restricting or curtailing IP rights in certain medicine also is the indication that states or order is becoming more interventionist. And that will not be only in the medicines, that will take in other form also. Other great challenge is the surveillance of the daily life of the people. During COVID-19, digital surveillance was greatly used. It benefited the people. But if it continues in the future, that people's freedom will be at the hand of the state. State can monitor you if you are. Your activities will be monitored, and it is not sure that it will be used always for your benefit. Sometimes they use for their own political benefits. This situation is coming in the future. It will impact on international human rights and human rights law. That's why at international level, there are certain questions we can raise. I think that in the coming sessions, there will be some discussion in these issues. I'll be very brief. One is that are international human rights instruments enough to cover the cases like COVID? We have to debate. Is international community obliged to protect? That is, we say that the right to protect, right to protection. Some people say that it is a form of intervention. But does this right to protect provide obligation upon the states, that we say that developed states to provide medicine or vaccination to COVID-19? We say that there is wider range, we can say that uncomparable disparity among nation and people about the vaccination and treatment is like that. It has also seriously questioned that international organizations like WHO, are they able to meet their objectives? Say that sometimes USA left its membership, it has rejoined, and at least it is not able to make the medicine and health services equitable worldwide. These are the very important issues. We have to think and deliberate upon it. These issues will be deliberated worldwide by diplomats, international law experts, and politicians for the betterment of the people's life of the people for the coming generation. I think these are some challenges at this time at international level. I think that we can also find some of the issues. We cannot say it is at the national level, but if you make it a broader perspective at regional level also in India, we are from three countries, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and India. There are many common challenges with us. I'd like to highlight some specific common challenges we can discuss and deliberate. One is the issue of transitional justice. However, there are all of three countries have this issue at global level and at local level. Nepal underwent a conflict from 1996 to to 2006. Sri Lanka, there was also long armed fight, a conflict between LTT and state forces. And in case of India, there are many instances, but I would like to highlight two notable issues. That is the issue of youth, and another is the human rights atrocity committed against Sikh communities after the assassination of Indira Gandhi in 1984. These issues are now regarded as when you have to deal the past human right violation that is committed in the recent past. We say it is transitional justice issue. Nepal has also not been able to solve this issue. There is also an issue in Sri Lanka. India also is facing the same challenges. All our nations are facing this challenge in international arena also. Human rights organizations and human organization bodies are facing these issues for a very long time. Nepal has two commissions, that is Truth and Reconciliation Commission and Disappearance Commission. These commissions are not able to start their function properly. Neither international community nor the government owns it properly. Sri Lanka has also the experience of Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I'm not aware about that, whether India has such commissions or not, but it has been facing these challenges. We, the legal academicians, these countries, can deliberate on these issues, how we can make a common understanding of the days to come. Other important issue is that democratic regimes that popularly elected governments are becoming repressive and less tolerant. Indian Constitution, Sri Lankan Constitution, and Nepali Constitution are very in the fashion, designed in a very liberal fashion. Adult franchise is the essential element, but sometimes the danger to the democracy comes from democratically elected representatives. I cannot, or I would not like to go in details, but this is common symbol in our countries. Third issue is that somewhere judiciaries also are questioned. Sometimes their impartiality, sometimes they favor the governments, and sometimes judiciary also is becoming less tolerant. You can say that contempt of case. These are common problems we are facing. I do not like to put any solution for these things. Similarly, we have a problem with India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, investment of larger and smaller extent. But we have no common forum for resolution of the disputes. Sometimes there is problem in India and Nepal for recognition of the arbitral award delivered in another jurisdiction. We are very close, but sometimes we are very far. Again, it is upon the legal academicians to raise these issues and provide solution to the governments. Although this is one-day seminar conference, I think there will be parallel sessions, and that there will be profound deliberation in the coming hours in these subjects, and the conference will come up with solid proposals for solution we are facing nowadays. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your exemplary guidance.
Now, I would like to thank you, Symbiosis Law School Hyderabad, for collaborating with us and hosting such a wonderful such collaboration in future on leading and pressing issues that need to be addressed. With this, we would like to end the inaugural session and request all the participants to join their respective technical sessions. We will begin our valedictory session at 3 p.m.